Chords.
Right now, we're getting our next guest, Cam Damage.
I'm so glad to be here. I've been a big fan of the show for a long time. Neptune, thank you for giving me your seat. You're such a gentleman.
And remember, Neptune has a new book dropping August 18th.
It's called For Whom the Boof Tolls.
You say boof a lot, but
I mean
means
boof instead of bark, and not boof like putting stuff up your ass.
0 people know that. No one knows that except you.
And now many more do.
Welcome to the Corn Corner podcast experience. My name is Wicked Wren, and I'm thinking about them beans.
You've used that one before.
God fucking damn it. So the idea of a sleepover is essentially you laying on the ground asleep with your friend also asleep.
Yeah. That's all. You actually, a lot of people have some weird ideas about it, but what it is you show up around 10 p.m. Depends when the friend's bedtime is. And they're usually already in bed. You let yourself in. You walk in, you put a little blanket down on the ground.
Yeah.
You settle in, and you have a sleepover.
It sounds a lot like a hostel, maybe.
Yeah.
Like you kind of let yourself in, you get a key.
Yeah.
Similar. You come in.
You keep your belongings under your head so no one steals them.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Sleep with things between your legs.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah.
I think that, so have you had a sleepover first off?
Yes. Like, when I think sleepover, I mostly think of like adolescence.
Yeah.
Like when you have a sleepover with your like buds or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Although I did not have many, I wasn't allowed to have a lot of sleepovers.
Would you get denied them often and ask and get denied?
No, I think I didn't ask a lot about them because I thought I would get told no, which probably I would have. But I had like a few friends that I did sleepovers at, like sporadically.
People would go there. No one would come here.
Like I'd go to their house.
Yeah.
No one would come to mine.
Would your parents be okay with you going out to the sleepover? They wouldn't care. Or they would?
They would. It had to be like a certain person, like, or whatever. Most of mine were like a sports team, like a teammate. And like that like actually the large majority of them were that.
And you would kind of pitch these to your mom as like, hey, I'm just going to do this for fun? Or is it so we can go to practice in the morning?
I think it was like after practice, I'm going to go back to Erin's house and like sleep over and whatever. And then her family's going to force me to go to church in the morning.
Yeah.
Like that.
And you would.
That did happen.
I had the church family as well that would make me go to church.
Like when after the sleepover or just like in general?
After the sleepover.
Yeah.
But also my family, we go to church every Sunday morning. So sometimes I'd be at a sleepover at someone's house that didn't go to church and my parents would pick me up.
Yeah.
And then we go to church and I'd be like, there's nothing worse.
Yeah.
Than an 8 a.m. pickup.
What time was the church? Yeah,
9 a.m.
Yeah,
It was just awful.
Seems absurd, but
it was. I wasn't super happy about it, you know?
Just in general.
Yeah,
so
I didn't love it.
At the sleepovers, standout memories. Let's hit that topic first.
Oh, I got one immediately.
What was it?
We used to. Halo 2 came out.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I never played it once, but
And we bring the TV up front. And
up front where?
So there was like a living room and then there was like another like
the den.
Like a den kind of, yeah. And that's where we bring the TV. And then there's a door that would kind of shut off that from the back bedrooms.
Okay.
So we go in there and bring in my TV, my big CRT TV in the front.
With like the 3 feet deep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we would bring the Xbox in.
Yeah.
We make Rotel dip with Velveeta cheese.
Yeah.
Eat it with Tostinos.
The can.
Not Tostinos. You know what I'm talking about. The chippy.
Yeah. Are they not that? What are they called?
No, a Tostinos is like a pizza, I think.
That's Totino's.
I think it is a Tostinos. A chip. If you know it, drop it in the comments.
Thank you.
We would essentially have that and we'd eat it and then we'd, drink a soda pop.
What kind?
Coke.
Caffeine?
Mountain Dew was a big one too.
Ugh. Did you stay up like super fucking late just playing Halo?
Yeah, so then my mom would come in and be like, "Okay, y'all have to go to bed."
Yeah.
And then we go to bed, but then we'd sneak up and play a
Okay,
little
so
bit more.
you went to the bedroom to sleep. You didn't all like camp out in the den.
No, we go to the bedroom to sleep.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'd sneak up front, which was insane because the house was super small.
Yeah, of course it wasn't sneaking.
Yeah,
There
and then
was
sometimes mom would come on and be like, "What y'all doing?" I'd be like, "Ah!" I
Yeah.
don't know. Make it up.
It's just so funny because you're just playing Halo. Like there was no like
There's nothing nefarious.
There's nothing bad happening.
But I did have a friend growing up, my next door neighbor, that we like would sleep over all the time.
Yeah.
Like this person had like a bed at my place, like that we pull out, like
a cot?
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's how often it
I
would
feel
happen.
like I'm sorry, this is the second time like in the past 2 days that we've talked about a cot. And I feel like it's not a relevant thing. It is not a relevant, not
Yeah.
irrelevant thing in like life. Like if you asked a kid, some like, 12 whatever to 16-year-old, and you're like, "Hey, do you know what a cot is?" They'd be like, Call of Duty. Like they would like they'd be like, "Fucking
Oh,
what?"
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
But like it was that like when we went to my grandma's house in Maryland, like there were cots. Like we set up cots in the basement to like sleep on because there weren't enough beds in the fucking house for like 4 kids.
Yeah.
That was like normal. And now I think about that and I'm like, that's just a sling. Like that's a sling held up by PVC pipes on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually what we actually did was we had a mattress under my bed that we pull out.
Oh, okay. Like a
So
trundle.
actually, I hate to say this, we didn't have a cot, but I do think that what you brought up, and the reason why I'm being honest about this, and I will no longer lie to you, is that I think that a
I would
cot...
never be malicious. Sorry.
I would never be deceptive.
Yeah.
So, but the thing that I think about though is that a cot and a basement go together.
Yes.
And we didn't have like a basement where it's this like weird auxiliary area where it doesn't exist unless you kind of venture into it and do the activities. So I honestly think that a lot of it's that like,
the basement's a liminal space.
where you can have a cot in there.
You can have it's allowed.
It's allowed, but like you can't have a cot in like just like a normal house.
Yeah, like if you put a cot in a bedroom, you'd be like,
kind of weird.
what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I do agree.
But anyway, and then I would sleep over. We'd sleep over. He's next door, so like we'd sleep over all the time.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
I didn't have one of those.
That was really, really cool. But the Halo friend was another friend, and that was kind of like a more like party time thing.
Yeah.
Like it didn't happen as much.
Did you get pizza?
Sometimes. I'm sure we did. I can't really remember.
What a nothing question. Did you and your friends order pizza?
It's like person who's never really been to a sleepover asking about them.
So what happened?
So y'all like you have it's fun?
What? Yeah. I like off the top of my head, I have like 3 different standout sleepover memories. One is sleeping at my friend Lindsay's house, which was like probably my most frequent sleepover place. And we watched, it was in the basement. It was like a couch that had a pull-out bed. But we watched Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'd never seen it before. Didn't sleep.
Yeah.
Not a sleepover. I was like genuinely like, oh my fucking God.
It's a scary one.
It was really scary. And then one time I slept over at a soccer friend's house. So I was like probably pretty like, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something. AJ in Camp Hill. Anyway.
Shout out PA.
Yeah. PA big ups. And this is a memory callback for some people. There's this like American Girl book that was like, I forget what it was called, but it was like getting to know your body. Like it was like a puberty book to like learn about like development and like tampons and like whatever. But like we just sat around and like read it, but we were like, what? Like in like such a hilarious like way of being like, what the hell?
Wow.
Like, yeah.
We should get a copy of that book and like read it on a live or something.
It's probably, I feel like it was really good then, but who knows now?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure it's...
The one problem with it is for adolescent, like, I mean, like girls, like whatever.
Yeah.
And it has illustrations. So it's not a thing for, if an adult had it, I'd be like,
take it back. I don't want to...
Yeah, I'd be like, what are you... What are you doing with this?
I'm gonna back up. There are a couple of moments in the podcast like where we get and I say, "Hey, I wish you wouldn't have been here."
Yeah, I think I need to reel it back in.
Yeah, but you can't do that here.
But it shows the fact that you can admit you didn't know things, and you, and you move forward with new knowledge. That's human. That's just what it is.
And what is human is sleeping together in a room.
Is it? Because I prefer not to do that.
Early on, people would sleep in communal areas.
Yeah.
So the sleepover dates back hundreds of years.
Sleepover. It was just sleeping, I think.
I think they would call it a sleepover.
By means of safety and wealth disparities.
So I want to continue to talk about childhood sleepovers.
Yeah.
But I also think it's fun to talk about the adult sleepover. But maybe we can continue talking about the childhood sleepover. But I just want people to know where we're going.
Yeah.
We will get to the adult sleepovers.
What do you want to say about childhood ones, though, while we're there?
Did you play a lot of video games?
Not really, because I remember one specific friend from the same club soccer team that the other friend was, whatever. And I went to her house and she had a GameCube and we played Super Smash Brothers. And I'd never played it before.
Did you like that?
I
Probably
did.
not. Okay.
That was one that I did. Like I was like, this is sick. But otherwise, when I played video games, it was like just alone usually, or as we know with like my dad, playing pod racers.
Love it.
But it was a lot of like, oh god, now I just got another like really vivid memory of one. It would be like watching movies, whatever. But then it would be a lot of like going on AIM, Instant Messenger, or like AOL, and like. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna message like Chris and like da 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 whatever, and then like someone's breaking up with their boyfriend, so the five of you all crowd around the computer and coach on like what to say and like gas up when like he says something and you're like, I can't believe, and we're like 13, like
Jesus
like
Christ.
But like a lot of that.
It is funny how that's like quite stereotypical, and it did happen.
Yes, and that was like I remember one in high school. It was like a field hockey team sleepover, and we watched Rent, and we all like sang every word and like cried. And then I went outside and made out with a guy against his car, and that was
oh my god,
that time.
This is 1963.
I know, right?
Against his like Camaro.
No, it was like probably a Jetta.
Yeah. I remember. So what's that banger in Rent? One of them is just an absolute banger.
The song?
Oh, that is a banger, but there's another one that's pretty good.
Out Tonight?
I don't know. But
what's the time? Well, it's gotta be close to midnight. You know,
we should do a Rent
I have to
pass
go.
through.
Yeah.
Not a watch through, just a quick
little thing. There are some really fun little songs in that.
When I was in high school, there was the high school was doing Rent as a play.
That's crazy.
Yep.
First of all, there is no way in hell that would have been, because that's nuts in the South too. Like
it's also nuts because I went to a Catholic high school.
How did we get there?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but they needed someone to play drums.
Yeah,
so I went and I played drums.
Yeah,
and it was so hard because I like was so out of my element. I didn't understand how to play like anything like musical or with like a group like that. It was the first time I ever did it.
Do you mean like you were in the pit or on stage?
I was in the pit, but I was on stage because they were like
quote,
making
unquote.
it a part of it.
Yeah.
Like instead of being like hidden. And I was next to like the piano player who is the director of the thing.
Jesus.
It was to this day, to
Stress.
this day in my life, one of the most stressful things I'd ever done. And one of the things I think about the most is I showed up with like a full drum set, like 6 cymbals, like 4 toms, like a double bass.
You didn't
pedal.
need all that.
I didn't understand. Like I didn't.
You need like a snare and like a
it's like
hi-hat,
a kick
maybe.
snare and a ride and a pair of
yeah.
hat. I was so like, I just didn't get it. And I remember getting there and being like, I want to die.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do this.
Did you have to perform through the whole thing? Or was there just a specific number that was part of it?
I played kind of through the whole thing, but also I didn't understand a lot. So I think like she kind of got that, the director, and she was like only playing these specific things.
Yeah.
Because I just like didn't get it. But then, I went to college and I was like, I really like playing musicals.
Did you practice? Yes. Sound like they threw you. They were like, "We're the show's tonight. We need a drummer. You're it, kid." Like,
no, I mean we did go through some rehearsals and things like that, but it's also like a hard thing to practice because like I was playing metal music, right?
Yeah,
and it's like consistent tempos, it's consistent everything.
Yeah,
but then in
musical
like, theater, it's not. Like,
you're punctuating what the performers are saying or like the
emotions.
And
like it's start stop. It's this that. It's whatever. It's like it's just. I mean, like it's not as like formulaic. So there's a degree I couldn't practice. There's a degree of just like not knowing what was happening.
Yeah,
it fucked me up bad. Like I was like, oh, okay, don't want to do this. But then, like I said, like in college, like I really figured it out. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I really love playing musicals and stuff.
I remember my mom took us to see Rent when I was like, I don't know if I was in elementary school or middle school, but like in New York. And I think it was one of the first things I saw. We went to New York a lot, and because you could just take a train there from Pennsylvania. And saw
Shout out.
Yeah, I saw a lot of really sick, honestly, Broadway things. So like, thank you to the parents for that experience.
They did a lot of good. They didn't let you do sleepovers, but they did bring you to see a little bit of
art. Honestly, I would take seeing like I got to see Spam a lot with like Tim Curry and like Alan Tudyk.
Do you really?
Yeah, and like the producers with like Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick, and like Hank Azaria was in the Spam a lot one too that I saw. Young Frankenstein with like fucking Megan Mullally. Like I got to see some sick shit.
That's cool.
They were like, oops, we've kind of goofed on this. And then anyway.
When you would go to New York with them, so y'all would get a hotel?
Yeah.
And then would you get your own room or a bed next to them?
We would either
kind of like sleepover.
Yeah, just kind of, we're taking it back. We would either do the adjoining room thing, you know, where there's like a door.
Yeah.
Or it would just be like one room, depending on, like if it was just me with my parents, it would be one room and two beds. Whatever.
Yeah.
Up to a certain age, because then that starts to feel quite
weird.
Awkward.
Yeah.
But like if it was like multiple siblings.
But they bring the whole. Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah. Yes, but there was rarely a time when everyone was, because me and my oldest sister are 7 years apart. So like she went to college and I was just getting to an age to like do stuff.
Yeah.
So it was rare that it was all four or whatever.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the 7 years is a massive gap.
Yeah. So that was kind of whatever. We did do family vacations.
What is the gap between your youngest and you?
So it's like me, 3 years, 4 years, 7 years.
Got it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought one of them is younger than you.
No, I'm the youngest.
You know, I'm expanding the lore.
The lore of the Corn Corner universe.
I just I don't know why I thought that. I saw. So I've only been in New York once, I think.
Yeah.
I saw Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I have not.
So good.
I have a bad experience with the music, and much like Hamilton, I have no want to ever see the thing.
I didn't know anything about. I mean, I knew it was like South Park people or whatever. And I don't like South Park, but I was like, it was like last minute. We're like, oh, we can get tickets for it, and we did.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it's great. It's fun.
Did you? I'm going back to kind of sleepovers now, pseudo sleepover subjects. Did you ever have a thing, even when you were in like college or high school, whatever, where you went somewhere like a camp, whatever, and you had to mom come pick me up, like or like dad come get me situation?
One time when I was a kid,
yeah,
I was next door at my like best friend's house growing up.
Yeah,
slept over so many times.
Yeah,
it was just like really late, and I just like wanted to come home.
Yeah,
and I called them on the house phone, and I was like, and all I had to do was walk next door, right?
Yeah,
and then this lady said, "Baby, I'm not your mom. You called the wrong
number."
Oh
no, that's so sad. Honestly,
I remember.
Did you start just bawling?
No,
oh, God, I would have. My little fragile bird baby self would have been like.
I was like, oh, I'm sorry, but now I think about it, it's like I remember that to this day and how like cute,
sweet she was.
Yes, sweet she was, and I'm like, I wonder like she remembers that.
Probably.
Now I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
But then I called and I was like, hey, I want to come home. And I came home.
You just chilled out.
Yeah, I was
hey,
like,
come get me.
Hey. I was like, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
fine. Like I'm
just
everyone
not comfortable.
loves me here.
Yeah.
And they just like me too much.
Yeah. I'm overwhelmed by the joy of it.
I don't know. I just need to come. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that happens.
Did that happen to you?
Yeah, and it's so weird because like, I mean, I'm not trying to like, I feel like I come off on here like disparaging of my childhood a lot, and it's true. I did have a rough childhood. Let's be clear. But my relationship with my parents and my family now is like sick.
It's great.
And that's like what I just want to put that out there into the world because I know my mom may listen to this at some point.
She will.
But she knows, like, whatever. Anyway.
Hey, you did a great job.
Yeah. It's weird that I would, like, you would think, given how I felt about my, like, life when I was a child, I would just want to be the fuck out of the house, like, as much as possible. But then, like, the times would happen where I'd be at field hockey camp or whatever and be like, I need to go home. Like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
And, like, shit like that. And I definitely had those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you know that no matter what, like, your parents love you,
Yeah.
your family loves you, like,
and it is a safe place,
yeah,
like, in some way, yeah.
Even if it is kind of like crazy a little bit.
I did it in college.
Did you really?
It was not initially. Like when I went to college, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like getting out there. But then, as you know, my first 2 years of college, pretty rough. It was a real long sleepover.
God.
And I forget exactly. I mean, a lot of things broke down in the second year of college between like alcohol use and drug use and abuse and stuff of them, and like field hockey falling apart, whatever. But I like called my dad at some point and was like, I need to come home. Like,
Wow.
Can you come get me? And I was in Rhode Island, but like him and my mom were like, yeah, and they like came help me pack my shit up. Like it was. I remember at the time being so scared that they were gonna be mad that I like fucked this whole thing up, but they were like, although my mom was like, how do you not have an upper respiratory infection when she got in the room, in the dorm room? It was disgusting. We smoked in there, like cigarettes. It was, I look back on that and I'm like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
It's pretty cool that they just came and got you, no questions asked.
Yeah.
I mean, questions asked, but not like.
Not in the moment. Like
Yeah.
they, like, I think there was like a sincerity.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as a parent, which I'm not,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's all you really want with your kid is like open dialogue to
Yeah.
like the meme of like, I'm a cool mom, you can drink but do it in the house.
Yeah.
Like it's some
It's
like
true, kind of.
yeah, it is. It's like just tell me the problem.
Yeah.
Like just tell me what's up. Let me like be a part of it
Yeah.
with you.
And that's what I think. That's like exactly what happened. So that was the beginning of actually my
Yeah.
like whole relationship with them.
We need to
Starting
move on to
marriage.
our next segment, but I do want to ask you about
Fuck
something.
off.
Excuse me, what
It's
is
getting
that?
emotional on the pod.
Oh, you can keep going. Go back.
I just thought it was funny. I was like, it's really an important thing with my parents. We need to move on to our next segment, but I do want to. Anyway, keep going.
Well, speaking of emotional, I think that you're going to love to hear this. I heard that you used to tape down tarps on the ground
yeah.
instead of cleaning the floor.
It wasn't like we also did clean the floor. This is another college memory that I shared earlier today regarding my time spent with my bestie and roomie at the time. Shout outs to Kessler.
Hey, we love Kelsler. here.
Kessler. Hopefully she listens. Anyway,
Bring a photo over.
I wish I could read the text out, but it's only funny to us. But like, yeah, we would, instead of like a rug in the dorm room, we had like sheets taped to the ground or like a tapestry that you get at like Spencer's or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And we did clean often, like more than most people in the frat house we lived in. But like something would spill, we were fucking drunks. Like we were, and like
Yeah.
there were dudes that were like, the one thing that she talked about was our friend Smithers, who had a spit bottle on the ground. He knocked it over, and she was like, the text was like, Smithers knocked over his like spit bottle on the ground. Don't worry, you've got floor sheet. Like it was, I forget exactly. It was the funniest shit ever. Anyway, yeah.
So you would, every week or something, you'd be like, okay, let's change out the floor sheet.
The problem is I don't remember stuff that well from that period of time.
But
I know it did rotate.
What did you use to tape it down with?
Duct tape.
It is, you understand how this sounds right now, right?
I'm like, yes, but also I lived in a frat house. Like,
I don't think people,
do you know how disgusting frat houses are?
I've never been in one.
Oh, it's bad. It's really bad.
But I will say it's shocking to tape down I mean, a mop maybe.
No. What do you think? We made
don't
money?
know.
Have a mop? Access to water?
I think the financial burden of throwing away sheets every week is.
We washed them, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know that for
Save the planet.
Yeah. I don't, you ever think about that? Like that a period of time where you did, like you go from being at home, your mom does your laundry. Hopefully you start doing your own laundry. You go to college. Where did that laundromat? Where the machines and like, I don't remember some parts of where my laundry was being done.
I remember that.
I don't. I wasn't taking it home. Brad did.
Yeah.
Like,
we had laundry like in
the buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just pay. But also, whenever I would go home, I'd bring home every single article of clothing I could and just do it at home because it was free. I'd bring home like bed sheets, comforters, like rugs, everything I could, and just do it at home and bring it back.
You still do that?
I was about to say that. I still do that.
Like when you fly, when I lived in Seattle, you'd fly up there with your laundry and do it in my house, which I don't think is weird for the record. I think it's smart. Like
I started doing that because when you fly first class with Alaska, you get 2 check bags for free.
It's baller.
And if I'm going to already bring a bunch of shit with me, it's sometimes worth it.
Yeah.
To get first class because you're getting 2 bags for free, and if you're gonna check 2 bags, that's
like
$100
or something. Yeah,
yeah. So I would do that, and then if I had some like extra space, I would just cram in a bunch of clothes that needed to be washed anyway.
You're like, I'm.
So then I started flying with like a towel I need. Not, I mean, it's like dirty, I guess, but it's like wash my body. But
no,
like,
it's funny.
Yeah, or like bed sheets or
smart.
something.
That was the one time you did show up with sheets, and I was like,
yeah,
what?
I just can't stand doing it. Cause like,
well, it's totally different if you live in like an apartment building.
Yeah.
First of all,
you gotta go down there. You gotta like,
and they're
fuck with
gross.
it.
Like the rooms are disgusting. My laundry machine here is gross because I got it from the person who lived here previously. Like
the stress of having to like think like, all right, it's done in 30 minutes. I gotta go down and like, I don't know. It annoys me.
Yeah.
Also, the microtransactions of it annoy me.
Yeah.
But I have figured out because of Corey how to hack the machine and run it in a test cycle. And there are like a couple of machines that will do that, washers and dryers.
He was just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's awesome because then it's free.
Yeah. I just don't like I just felt so weird about leaving all your shit. Like you're just going and putting all your clothes in there.
Putting it in God's hands.
Yeah. And like leaving it. I don't know. It's a lot of trust.
Yeah, I feel like the social contract though with like stealing clothes, like I feel like
I would never.
I don't think anybody would steal clothes because I feel like even people, I mean, who knows, they might, but even if people are weird about touching each other's clothes, like I think it's really annoying when people leave their clothes like and forget about them like overnight. And
then I'll take them out and put them on top of the machine.
Yeah, me too. But I still feel super bad about it because I'm like,
it feels like a weird, very intimate and like boundary crossing thing to just touch someone else's clothes.
So this is a section, Corn Corner Queries. This is where we source questions from our Patreon and we answer them rapid fire style.
Sometimes we like to take a little like a time with it.
It's always rapid fire style.
Yeah,
is how we do it.
Okay. Quick. So my the one I picked, it's very important.
Let's hear it.
Actually was really tempted to make it like to change it to be something that would appeal to you more. If you were a cut of meat, what cut would you be?
Wow.
And you know what I wanted to make it?
What?
If you were part of a snake, what part would you be? The knee.
Snakes really don't have parts.
Anyway.
It's a good movie.
I don't think it is. I think if we revisited it now.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Yeah. It's going to be quite bad probably, but there's a lot of
takeaways.
Snakes really don't have parts, but if I were to say it would be the knee.
That's very funny.
How do you write that? That's fucking funny.
Adam Sandler used to do good things. Scooch over here a little bit more. Scooch over.
I'll come on by.
Thank you so much. All right.
Mortadella. I love it.
That's not a cut. That's just a type of bologna.
I guess Chuck.
I know.
It's a hard one.
When I picked this one, I was like, oh, that's good. And then I was like, rump.
Yeah.
Because it means butt.
Is that what you'd be?
I mean, I guess, yeah. Short ribs, because I like them.
All right.
This one was a failure.
Well, everyone, listen. We need you on Patreon. We need you to ask better questions than this. Evidently, we both just be ambiguous cuts of a cow.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, I don't like meat that much.
Yeah, me neither. But it's rapid fire, and this is what this section is. It's Corner Queries. So
I want to turn this into something more funny for 2 minutes because
right.
that was a failure of a query time.
Okay.
But I don't know what. We got to rapid fire back and forth about it.
What's your favorite deli meat? Mortadella.
Roast beef.
I guess like a turkey. I guess.
What? No one says that. You're gonna go to a nice like a sandwich establishment and they got the whole menu and you say, I would like the turkey club.
Yeah, actually, do you have a mild cheddar?
Could I just get that sandwich without any condiments?
Yeah. Hold the mustard. Whoa.
Yeah,
Who do you think I am?
But I'm gonna need to take my Pepsid. Anyway.
But wait. You did say a turkey club and you disparaged a turkey club. I'm going to be real with you right now. I like a turkey club.
I don't think there's anything redeeming in it.
It's a fun sandwich in a vacuum. You're
talking like a diner turkey club.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's the only place I would.
You're talking about a sandwich.
I'm talking about a sandwich place.
Yeah, well, if I went to like a little hipster sandwich place.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the, fried bologna sandwich or whatever.
I was talking about Turkey and the Wolf. Now we're just talking about the sandwiches episode, which you can find on our YouTube if you scroll back in the podcast episodes.
Scroll on back. We did sandwiches. I wish we could do it again.
Yeah,
It's my favorite topic.
Maybe we will. And also you can find all of our podcast episodes ad-free on the Patreon, which is also where you can ask your Corn Corner queries. Bring us some good ones.
Bring us some good ones, people.
Patreon.com/thecorncorner. Transition. I didn't know. I thought you were like, preach. Amen.
You got it.
Holy shit.
For all the audio only listeners, I was left hanging
I'm so
there
sorry.
for a while.
I'm used to. I'm a pound it. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, transition. Here we go. Woo! That was such a great Corner query. Wow. Well, speaking of sleepovers, so we're not young anymore. Now we're older.
Yeah.
But we still have sleepovers.
Yeah.
Would you say that sleepover is just as fun?
Sorry, I was thinking of ones I've had recently, and all my sleepovers are with you.
They are.
And yeah, they're a fucking blast. We do insane shit, but also we are working until 1 or 2 in the morning usually.
It's pretty nice though, because for me, what it provides is that time in college when you were
cramming.
Yeah, or you were really inspired, bringing him up, Brooks.
No,
we would do that all night. We would make dumb songs.
Yeah,
and we would just get really into these things, and I feel like that's
same energy.
You lose that.
Yeah,
and I feel like I had that again with Corner, which is nice.
I can't wait until we have Brooks on here. By the way,
God,
if we could, we have already had guests, but if we could get Brooks on ASAP, that would be the best guest ever.
It would be so hard to talk to him because it would just we just need to fill in holes between.
You just tell inside jokes and bullshit, and I'd be over here
all right.
I know.
It was cool though because we lived together all through college, and it was like a sleepover all the time.
Yeah,
because we just hang out and do stuff. It was great.
That's what college felt like in general, and it's probably not like that for everyone.
Yeah,
who was whatever, lucky enough, however you want to look at it, to go to college, because it is kind of. I'm so torn on that. Is it a privilege or is it some weird compulsory thing that the way America treats it specifically? It's so, I don't know. Anyway, we're not going to get into it.
All right.
I have a lot of feelings about it.
We're not allowed. I do too. We're not allowed.
Yeah. The whole thing though was no parents.
Yeah.
Because it truly was I wasn't a kid with a lot of freedom, obviously. And I was 17 when I went to college.
Wow.
So I was a year ahead or whatever. So I went and was I felt like a child until I was 26. but but I was like very much like like
Yeah.
going to bars with a fake ID and like all this crazy shit, and there's no one to answer to really.
Yeah.
And it was wild. I don't know.
So funny how different our experiences were.
Just in terms of like, I went and did a bunch of shit and you didn't.
Yeah, like I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
Like any of it.
I don't think I went to college with my intention to be partying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't initially. Like, I went first and was like, oh, no parents. I'm going to sit in my room and play World of Warcraft.
I do remember you saying that.
Yeah. And I still was like a bit hung up on like a boyfriend from home and like whatever. And I was trying to find my own like legs or whatever. But then I made friends who did drugs and it all fell into place from there.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't even think about, I was just so naive.
Yeah.
I can't even think about anyone that was like doing drugs in college.
Yeah.
Like I truly can't think of a time where I was even exposed to drugs.
Was there like drinking culture at your...
I mean, there were like sororities and fraternities and stuff like that.
Was this at the, not...
It was at like a state university.
Yeah, okay.
And so, yeah, it was like, and it was a college town too.
Yeah.
And it was a small town. But I yeah, I mean, there was like drinking, but it was never like, I don't remember ever seeing someone like out of control. You know, like
Do you think it's just because you weren't at those places?
I was in like the creative and performing arts
Yeah.
department. So it was like we all hung out with each other. It's
Yeah.
like theater kids, music kids, whatever, art kids. And I do think that like that group was like a little bit different than like just the regular population of college kids. So like I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Yeah. Like you just weren't exposed to the certain areas of the map of college experiences, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird when I think about it, you know, like, and I dated people that were not in the like in creative performing arts department. And I remember going to like those hangouts and they were a little bit different, but it still wasn't
wild.
Wildly different. I honestly don't know. But I do think also like, you know, I don't know how people do drugs, but I bet like you go into a room. They boof them. I think you go into like a room somewhere and do it alone with other people that are like accepting of it. Right? Like
yeah, but that's a party. Like what is a party if not being in a room or a house with doing drugs with other people who are accepting of it? You know?
Yeah, but if you were like, hey, I want to like do a drug.
Yeah.
You would be like, let's go into the bedroom and close the door with other people doing the drug.
Vaguely like that. It depends on what it was.
So maybe that's what was happening.
Yeah.
I literally didn't even like physically see a drug until I had to ask someone in LA being like, what does this look like? And they're like, this is what it looks like.
That's so
and I was
funny.
like, wild.
Yeah. I think maybe I just had the opposite experience where I did not have a social interaction that was not based around drinking or drug use in college. Like the first like time I ever like really went out, besides just like going and hanging out at my two guy friends' dorm room where we did drugs or drink. But that would just be like three dorks sitting in a room high watching movies. So like that was like the start of my college experience.
When you say do drugs, you mean like smoke pot or like other stuff?
Other stuff.
Okay.
And that was the period in time when we're going all over. This isn't sleepovers anymore. The adult sleepovers is what we're talking about. This was a period of time in my life where there's like a point in your late adolescence where you're like, nothing can kill me, essentially. And you've like an odd, like, or at least for me and like whatever, no fear about taking something. Also, fentanyl wasn't a thing. That's very important to say.
Yeah.
Like fentanyl wasn't a thing back then when we were in college. So there was no fear of like, this pill could be laced with something that, you know, a piece of sand of it could kill me. So we just didn't think about it like that. Because now I wouldn't like ever do shit ever now. And I wouldn't anyway for other reasons. But anyway, so it'd be like, things that you'd never have even heard of, like 2CE, like weird synthetic things, or just like we'd be sitting around and be like, you guys want to do like acid tonight, or you want to do like Molly tonight, whatever. And then we just sit there and watch like Apocalypse Now. Like it was,
Got it.
But then it turned into like going to parties. And then I got in with the sports teams better because I got like more into my field hockey friends, and that turned into like big drinking things, and then moved into a frat house.
Yeah, I think it's mainly because like I think maybe the sports kind of like
For sure.
and stuff had a lot to do with the drinking and things.
That was heavy. Like that's all we did.
Yeah.
Even though there was a thing where we had like dry, like during season, we had to like not drink or anything like for a certain amount of time before games, or we were supposed to have like a dry season where we didn't drink like during the season, so we wouldn't like fuck up our athleticism.
Yeah.
And of course that was like bullshit.
So funny because now that we're talking about this, I remember having like a call in with a friend that was drinking a lot.
Oh,
even.
yeah?
Yeah, in college. Like we all kind of went over and were like, hey, like we can tell you're like drunk at school. Like, what's up?
Need to get it together.
Yeah, and then it was a really productive conversation.
That's good.
And that's like one of the only things I remember as someone like abusing.
Yeah, things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we had very wildly different experiences.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, like there were people, this will be my last point, we can move on to another thing. When I was at Brown, people, you especially if you're an athlete, but I think it was any student, if you had to get the ambulance called on you, like I think it was twice maybe, you got kicked out. So like people would be like
That's
past
so
like blackout drunk,
bad.
falling down the stairs, being like, don't call an ambulance. Like being like, just don't call an ambulance, whatever, all fucked up. And you'd have to be like, you have to make a judgment call to be like, you need one.
Yeah.
Or like, okay, we got this, like whatever. Because you'd get kicked out. Like, it's crazy.
God, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I'm having more stories come back. Like I did have a partner in college that got really drunk, but it was like, oops, we like messed up.
Yeah.
Didn't realize like that would happen if you drank that much.
Yeah.
The intention was never
To get there. Yeah.
You know?
I just think back on it like how I didn't get more fucked up or something
Yeah.
really bad happen. Because I was blackout like
Consistently.
Yeah, like all the time.
I'll tell you, and this is a great segue here.
Yeah.
One of my least favorite parts about sleepovers is being cold.
Yeah. Were you cold last night?
No, it was great
Okay,
last
good.
night. But I did feel last night, I was kind of like, for context here, this is a new house.
Yeah.
It's not, set up all the way.
Yeah.
So
Could be cozier.
what?
Could be cozier.
I think it's cozy. I loved it. So I slept on the couch. I think it was great. It's the first time I've ever slept on the couch at one of your places.
Okay.
Because usually you have like a guest room or
Yeah.
something. And I loved it. I had a great time on the couch.
I can't. It's not sarcasm.
No, this is real.
I do
was
want to get the
warm.
loft bed. I'm gonna look at it after we get off here. But-
I would say you don't have to do it for me or a guest because I slept great.
That's for me, to be clear.
I slept awesome. And I was not cold.
Yeah.
And I did think to myself, what if I am cold?
What are you gonna
What
do?
would I do?
Yeah.
You
You could text me because I was up until 3 a.m.
Yeah. We got an Amber Alert like 2 a.m. that woke me up.
Was that not a flash flood warning?
It was. It woke me up.
An Amber Alert and a flash flood warning are not the same thing.
Close enough. Close
Are
enough.
they?
Close enough for government work.
Are they though?
Yeah. I don't,
You know what an Amber Alert is, right?
That's when a kid goes missing.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Just so we're clear.
I didn't realize that until I said it out loud.
Okay. What about
Isn't
a
there-
silver alert?
Yeah.
It's not funny, but it's kind
not
of funny.
funny, but I'm
It's kind of funny.
I mean, it's a little bit. But yeah, I slept there and
Had a good time.
yeah, I did great.
I love sleeping over at your place. Like, I love floor bed.
Floor bed's awesome.
And also which is why I want to get the loft, like little bed thing in the office here. I cannot fucking sleep next to people for the most part.
Yeah.
And with like animals in the room because I'm such a light sleeper.
Yeah.
Extremely hypervigilant. Like someone could walk by and I'll be like out of a dead sleep
Yeah.
usually, unless I like took meds or something. but I want to get the loft thing, so I'm in a room with no animals or people. And at your house, no animals.
Yeah.
You're in the back. Usually I put on in my earplugs so I don't hear the neighbors in the morning. And it's like I sleep better there usually than anywhere.
That makes me happy. I'm happy to hear that.
Floor bed's so comfy too.
Well, you owned a floor bed like that.
This is the way to go.
And then I'm going to take home some of your tatami one day. Yeah. And then we'll put that on a floor bed. I feel like that might help. I don't really know. I don't think it will.
I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah.
The loft thing is fun because it's like I always say it's like Peter Pan, kind of like Lost Boise. And I always wanted to like have the treehouse room thing.
Is the loft bed going to be tall enough to where you can sit up all the way?
Yeah, so I'm only getting like a medium one. I like already researched a bunch of them.
Maybe I need to do that.
So it's like not a full body length. Like me standing, the bed would be like here.
Got it.
Like it's only like raised. So it's like 34 inches clearance underneath.
Got it.
So I can fit the shelves underneath.
Got it.
But then the bed is just so like.
I understand. Maybe I need to look into that. That'd be great storage under there.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They make them with a bunch of storage compartments.
Yeah.
So to speak.
That's what they call them.
Yeah.
So have you ever been cold at a sleepover?
Absolutely.
Do you remember one instance specifically?
I mean, yeah.
Walk me
I'm
through
gonna
it.
call him out.
Don't call the person out, all right?
Well, he listens to it, so it's it'll come in. Maybe he'll listen to it. When I sleep over at Abel's, sometimes he uses a weighted blanket. I got him a really nice one for Christmas last year, maybe his birthday. I don't remember.
At you.
Anyway, the problem with the weighted blanket is it's not the entire span of the bed, and I don't like weighted blankets to sleep. Like I like them when I'm awake, but he has it over him, and then the weight hangs in between us. Because I also don't sleep touching people usually. I'm like, get the fuck away from me. Maybe actually we fall asleep in his hands on my butt. It's pretty cute. Anyway, but sometimes the weighted blanket will like shift as such that it holds down the rest of the covers that we like would share. And we've since circumvented like things like that where we have like separate top blankets and stuff.
Love it.
But like it would be like I only had like half of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Or like the same thing happens with like sleeping with dogs in bed and they like way down the middle and you're like like trying to those are what I would think of. If I was at your house, I would just fucking get something. Like I'd get a blanket.
I got more blankets.
Yeah. Canada.
Look at that cat. That cat, great cat.
Is this question going somewhere? Or you're just asking?
I just wanted to hear about a time you might have been cold. For me, I don't enjoy being cold.
Yeah, I'm cold all the time. I have circulatory disorder.
You do. It's called Raynaud's or something.
Raynaud's. Yeah.
How long have you had that?
My whole life. Okay.
Well,
do you remember? So like, as an adult, what was the like your first like relationship sleepover? Do you remember that?
I used to sleep over for very specific things at my high school girlfriend's house.
Like what? Like an event the next day or something?
Yeah, like something hyper specific.
Yeah.
And then
this question went nowhere. Real stinker.
And then I guess like once to college, then like all bets were off. But like I remember doing that. It was the first like relationship one that I did.
I still would not. Like in college, I'd be like, no, get the fuck out. Like I've told the story before, but one time I like woke up on the floor in someone's room and I guarantee it's because we hooked up and they were like, all right, like, why don't you get like sleep over? And I was like, fuck that. I'm not sleeping in bed with you. And probably slept on the floor. Like,
wow.
Seriously. Like,
wow.
Cause I just I'm not good at, I like sharing beds like when awake.
Yeah.
But when it's sleep time, I want to like,
have your space.
Yeah. And like, I like the alone time of being in bed and like being on your phone or reading or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Doing whatever you want to do.
And doing your own thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't know. There's a lot of pressure sometimes about.
So when the Corn Corner travels.
Yeah.
And let's say we get a hotel.
Yeah. Would
we get one king bed or we get two full beds.
We've shared beds before with no problem.
See, I'm fine with sharing a bed with you.
Well, that's because
It's
we
so
both
easy.
turn away from each other
Yeah.
and then we do not move.
Yeah.
like you very rarely move in your sleep.
Yeah.
And if we do, it's within the confines of our
Space.
thing. Yeah. And and we know. Also, you're great at going to bedtime because there's no like like whatever, like where it's like, are we going, why is this awkward? Like, what are we? You're
See,
just like, all right, good night. And you turn over and I'm like, great. Like,
bye-bye. So I just had a sleepover. You good?
Yeah.
For the audio only listeners, Cam was just struggling. But seems to be good now.
Yeah.
I recently had a sleepover with someone in their bed, platonic. It was for I was over at like an event.
Yeah.
And then the guest room was full.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'll just sleep here. A king bed, big bed.
I think it's bigger. I think it's like a Texas
That thing
king.
is
That thing is
massive.
huge. Yeah.
One of the most comfortable beds in the world.
Did we sleep in that bed together?
Yes.
Yeah. God.
3 of us slept in that bed together.
For real?
You, me, and Raven.
I didn't realize.
Didn't Raven sleep in that bed too?
Maybe. No, there was a side guest room. Raven was in the guest room.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
You're right. But yeah, we slept in that bed together.
Yeah. And it was like sleeping on a goddamn cloud.
It is
the bedding.
the best bed.
It was insane.
But I slept in that bed with the bed owner.
Yeah.
It was Captain.
I was like, are we talking around it?
Anyway,
Let's compliment Captain's bedding in
Yeah.
here. I think they also used like the linen sprays because it smelled like good, like
I know.
fresh. Anyway,
Captain has so many luxuries.
it's great.
It's really nice being there. But anyway, it was fun to like navigate the like, hey, sleep time now.
Yeah.
You know, it was like,
What's your little?
because like we like talked for a while of just about like we talked about like queerness and we
Yeah.
talked about like childhood queerness and like things like that, like our experiences growing up and things.
Yeah.
And then it is funny when you kind of hit a point where you're like, all
Well-
right, well, I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Bright and early.
Yeah, like
I used to always love. I'd go stay at Kiss Me Deadly Doll's place a lot when I lived on the East Coast, and there would always be, maybe it was like awkward in the beginning, but towards the like later in our friendship or whatever, I would just like, it was known that if I was like, all right, I'm gonna hang in my room, the guest room, that like I could even have the door open, but no one would come talk to me still because I was like beyond that barrier, which I
Yeah.
like love. Like I like when if like people have enough awareness and like whatever mutual
Yeah.
respect to be like, I want to go be quiet in the bedroom, but I don't want to close the door. Like
Yeah.
I like whatever, but don't fucking come talk to me.
yeah,
Like-
like I need some time.
Yeah. I think that's a thing that's doesn't happen enough for adults
Yeah.
where it's unacceptable to be like I need to sleep alone and this is not a slight to you or our relationship.
Yeah.
It's just like a thing. Or I need to go like be quiet for an hour
Yeah.
and it's not like fuck you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wish people were more.
I feel you.
Yeah.
It's funny you brought up Doll, and Doll and I shared a bed during Folsom.
Yeah.
But we were so like tired every night.
Yeah.
That there was zero
Just
like
flopping.
It was
Yeah.
like but also we like tied like a copious amount of times.
Tied a lot that
so
week.
so I feel like that experience like circumvents like
Yeah.
any kind of like
The intimacy of that.
yeah,
versus-
of like being like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is something though that'll always be a little like
Yeah.
here we are in bed together.
Yeah.
like even if it's just like sleeping, whatever. I don't know.
Well, look, I think we've said a lot of great things about sleepovers here.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting thoughts about sleepovers?
You know, if you ever are at a sleepover and you get in a pillow fight, remember our biggest pillow fights are in our minds.
God, you know what? You're so right.
Yeah. That's
The
it.
pillow fight of the mind.
Yeah. The only fights I'm engaging in are pillow fights with my brain.
God, that's funny.
Brain's gonna catch these pillows.
Reminds me of a Killswitch Engage song. Strength of the mind. Pillow fight of the mind. Pillow fight of the mind. That's the song.
Anyway.
Been revisiting them a lot lately.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. I'm familiar. it's raining again. So,
All right. Well, hey, look. Thank you so much for being on.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, what do we do with these after?
That's how you're ending it.
Do we
shake hands? Just
every time we end one, we should end it like there's like someone like we don't really just like so do we just
where do I?
yeah.
Are you getting
More than bread.
It's good because it's been sitting there for a long time, so somebody's eat it. Oh my gosh.
What a baby. Wow. A number pepper.
Okay.
The corn corner dog. So what do you think about the... Hey, I'm a street interviewer, and I'm just curious if I could ask you a couple questions.
Hey, do you have time? What's your favorite snack?
Any thoughts on the new Purina recall?